say out of the way, it dissolves. When the ego begins to dissolve, then everything that I'm talking about becomes more livable. Because everything that I'm talking about still, as much as it's so simple, and I bring it to you so simple, it's still someone's like, yeah, but how do I, that really? I'm infinite? Like, because you're still the story. Can you see? So I find it really super supportive to work from both ways. Work with me with the one, work with Gaz with a drop. Okay, so we're going to have people from, WTF registering into that program, but everyone in OMG, I really recommend, if you've spent the money in OMG, you should spend the money on intensive and go the whole way. Don't go half-hearted.
I get a little bit confused about when you say don't focus on what you don't want, because isn't that what we're doing? We say we're focusing on what we're not, but focusing on we're talking about the drama.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing?
Don't focus on what you don't want.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
And then we're saying I'm not the drop.
You're not the drop.
To begin with,
Yes.
until we accept that we're the ocean.
Yes.
So isn't that focusing on what we're not?
No, you're saying I'm not the drop.
Isn't that focusing on
The first thing is to realize that you're not the drop. Okay? Yes. If you say I'm not the drop, you're focusing on the drop. Okay? Because the best way to do this is just to go, I am the ocean. Right? But when someone is being the drop, and then I'm telling them they are the ocean, okay? Then they're going, I am the ocean, I am the ocean. They become woo-woo. Because the drop's listening. So then I go, well, we need to work on this on a different angle. We need to sit down and have a conversation with the drop. Let's resolve some of the things with the drop. Let's have a conversation with the drop. So Gaz gets in a circle and has a conversation with the drop. Okay? At the same time, you're doing this program, I'm having conversation with one. Okay? So it just works, it's like left hand and right hand. But ultimately, you don't want to say, I'm not the drop, I'm the ocean. I am the ocean.
which is what I'm finding now is after we did intensive, I was having some difficulty letting go of the physical side of me, like I'm not this body.
Yeah.
And I've been doing the same thing, I'm not this body,
Yeah.
energy, and it's starting to really, like I'm starting to feel a disassociation with it, and it's okay now.
Yeah.
At first it was freaking me out.
Yeah, because that's the ego.
Yeah.
And to let go of the body means to let go of identity.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. When you're really the one, you're not this body anymore. Because for as long as you think you're this body, that's one. And then you think you're the one as well, that's two. You can't be the one and be the body. You become the one moving through this body. The body's no longer who you are. That's when you experience no fear of death. And then you're not only this body, but you're in that body. You're that body. So you no longer move this body, you move that body too. Like, do you understand how deep you have to go to grasp that?
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes, ultimately, when we're at that place, I would just go place your attention on the truth. That is the ultimate thing. Place your attention on the truth. Place your attention on I am the one. You won't say I'm not this. But in the teaching, when someone first comes across this, I have to go through, you're not this. Break a little bit of that.
Okay, so we're still needing to look at both sides to be able to look at one.
I'll address both. I'll continue addressing both sides, but you'll know when you're just go boom. I'm the one. If you feel just to go straight to the one, then that's just.
No, it's taken me a little time just to let it go the body part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part. Like even today when we're having the conversations about your business and you're saying you're not looking at a business plan, I thought, but it's okay to have a business plan. Is it okay to have a business plan and still feel like you're going through, you still follow your path? So you still have things out there, but you're still following your path rather than saying, I can't not have something. So basically,
what I got out of that was it's okay to have those things.
Yeah.
It's my attachment to it that it's a block.
that's what was coming up for me. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's okay, we can live a normal human life by do the normal things, but it's just not attachment to them. And I guess bringing those two things together, that's.
So, when you're saying that, I'm trying to identify how do you know when it's your attachment to it, or how do you know that you're actually living it?
Oh, you don't know if you're looking for it in your head. You keep looking for it in your head, so let's not even go there. It'll be boring. So can I just pick this up? I just want to finish about intensive before we go on. I want to finish my sale. How do you guys feel about doing intensive? Now, how do you feel about it? What I mean, this is the thing, right? How do you feel about it means you already know how you feel about it. Okay? I want you to go to your feeling. How do you feel about doing the intensive program? So Monty, how do you feel about it?
I feel a lot.
Okay? Let's keep going around. You guys have done it. How do you feel about it?
Neutral, but in a good way, like it's probably something already, or I'd like to.
So you already know,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah.
So you want to do it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I had an interesting time after December WTF and I realised that I've been putting power in OMG and the program and it trying to save me and using it as a tool, blah blah blah, and I just came to the realisation that when I first started OMG it was from a feeling, something came up and I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
It just happened. And it hadn't happened since then, and so now when I talk about OMG intensive, I don't have the feeling there, so I'm going to wait until.
Okay, sure.
wait until-
Can I tell you how to take the power out? You got to start placing your attention on the truth. It's not me or OMG. You're manifesting this.
Yeah, and
When
I
you-
started to not
Yeah.
do that.
When you start to realize it's not a me, because people put power on me.
Yeah,
It's not a me.
yeah.
I'm speaking through me. I'm creating this. Right now, I'm creating Amir to give me an opportunity for him to sell another program. You're creating this. You got to start to. So then you don't put power nor blame. You don't put credit nor blame. Okay, so that's how you can take your power out. But yep, sit with that. Mark?
When it came up earlier, I felt that it was something that I'd enjoy doing. But and after Sam's experience with it, and she just touched on what went on, and she got a great deal out of it. But I don't feel the need to do it. It's just something that.
Do you feel the love to do it? Do you feel moved to do it? I didn't say go to the need. I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Just sit with that. So you do. So you checked with the answer, and the answer was already yes.
Yes. it's
Okay.
already yes.
Great. How about you? Do you guys have done it? The feeling says yes. Okay. How about you?
I'd like to do it, but at the moment don't say no.
Okay. So what do we notice? I would like to do it, but the feeling says no.
Well, at the moment it's not.
Who says no? The feeling? I want you to just notice something here. Listen to the language. I would like to do it. So which part of you would like to do it? But don't you mean I feel to do it, but the story says no?
Yeah.
Okay, say the truth then.
I'm not doing it, so the finances aren't there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a drive to do it at this point.
Yeah.
The interesting
What
thing
does the
is-
feeling say?
Yeah, this was
The
question
drive
I
comes
asked.
from here, just
Yeah.
saying.
I find it difficult to get in touch with the feeling. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's the excitement part, which I know is part of my ego,
Yeah.
or whether it's the one feeling coming through. So I
Okay, so maybe that's why you should do it. Okay, so we'll sit with that.
I'm not ready for it.
You ready to go? Okay. So those who said yes, they weren't ready to go. You ready to sign up today? Like, have you decided to do it?
My story comes into it because I'm like, great.
Okay.
If the dates
Mine.
change, yes.
Is there another one later in the year?
That's all it is today.
Okay. You ready to go, Monty?
I can't commit to that.
Like, you don't have to commit to that. I'm talking about to yourself, to the decision.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Okay. So you've decided to do it. Okay. You guys are too easy. Did you guys speak to the other OMG group?
No.
Okay. All right. The purpose of that exercise was to see what shows up for you. That was all the purpose of the exercise. Do I still suggest that you do OMG intensive? Yes, I do. I meant everything I said. Okay? But I just wanted to put that in the circle just to show how the emotions, the thoughts, because this is how manifestation works, right? Where did you go? What story did you go to? Okay? How did you disguise the story? I feel to do it. What was that? I like to do it, but I like to do it. Sorry to pick on you for a second,
No,
but
it's
it's
fine,
perfect.
it's fine,
That
it's
I like to do it, but I feel not to. Can you see that the ego is using the words just to make sure it's protecting itself? Okay. So I'm sorry that the guys who have already done intensive couldn't participate in that, but you watched everyone else. Maybe I should chuck something else for you guys. But you should have seen what happened in the first OMG group we did this. Oh, boom. There was a lot of stuff that came up for those guys. You guys are pretty, that's why I'm like, did you speak to the other group and know that this was coming in?
Eliza pondered about it, Phoebe, but she didn't explain. I think she was dealing with some stuff.
Yeah, she was sort of tiptoeing around and she was like, whoa.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point of that exercise is to A, notice when it comes to making a choice, where did you go?
Story.
Did you go to the story? Some of you
In
went,
my head, I did it first.
okay. It's not for me, just for you to notice. Where did you go? Okay. Did you go to check in with where the decision's made? Or did you go to the place where you think you need to make the decision? Because we're talking about manifestation here. The point of that exercise was to show you the very thing that's going to stop you, or to just to show you how you normally respond to things. Okay?
What I found really interesting about that was, so I'll normally just if I want something, go after it. But when you highlighted, when you said I don't need to do it, and then it came back to that, actually someone we put in that, actually I don't need to do it, but I still want to do it.
but I'd love to do it, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like sometimes making a decision based on the fact that you're like, well, I don't need it, so therefore I won't.
Yeah.
But it's
Because
like,
the ego's going, well, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Because the ego only wants to do what it needs to do. Well, I don't need to do it. Yeah, well, I don't need to go to America. Who says to go to America all the time? It's a big move. Been going there for over a year. I don't need to go, but I love to go. Can you see this? That's awesome. I'm very good that I'm very pleased how that integrated for you guys. But just notice where did you go? Notice when the ego came up, and that's actually the powerful thing about intensive. You know, Gaz plays a lot of games like that with you guys. I don't normally do things like that.
When you said, let me do my sale,
Yeah.
that's what I thought, what
Yeah, because I normally don't do that.
You wouldn't say it.
Yeah, you would say it.
yeah, you sell a lot.
I was trying to press buttons. I was trying to press buttons because when I did it in the first group, everyone's like, why the fuck should we pay? And, I don't understand, I don't think we should, I've already paid, or why should I pay $500 a month? And, it's like, the thing is, you've gone to the story. Forget about what does your heart say? Because
How do you distinguish between the two?
the head and the heart.
Yeah, how do you really distinguish? Because the head thing, I so got before when you said, you get excited
Yeah.
and all those things. But how do you really distinguish between the two?
You know, you're looking to define where one starts and one ends. And the thing is, you can do that with the head, but the heart cannot be defined. Love cannot be defined. So you'll never define. You'll never know how the heart works. And whenever you feel the heart, you'll never know if it's true. You'll know, you'll have a knowing, but you won't have the tangible, the logical, that this is 100% true for me. You'll never know. You'll just not have a knowing, like an intuitive feeling. Like when it's your intuition speaking, right? You never know 100% that that's your intuition. You just have a knowing. But you don't have the knowing that comes with the belief that this is 100%. It's almost like it's kind of a little bit blind. You know? You're never going to get the tangibility of it. What you're looking for is the tangibility. You know, the only way you'll know is by doing it, using the head, using the heart. You know, don't judge yourself when you followed the ego. Don't judge yourself if you just went to a limitation. Don't judge yourself. Oh, fuck, I'm the one who went to the limitation, you know. Don't judge yourself, right? Just observe, okay? And just notice. That's all it's about. And the more you observe and notice, the more it will become familiar with you. So for me, the heart is just really familiar. I don't need to question it. So I don't have this battle going on before I make a decision to follow my heart. Unless it's something that I've got massive power in, then like you, I'll have a battle going on. But there's less and less things that I have power in. So naturally, it's a familiar feeling, I just follow it. That sounds familiar. It's familiar. So, yeah, what you're looking for, you're never going to find. It will just become familiar. This is familiar. But then if your head goes, how do you know it's familiar? You know, what if you're wrong? Like you're not going to give me the proof. You're not going to find proof. There's no proof. Proof is only things on something that's finite. Something that's infinite cannot be proven. This is why science can only get to the door of the truth. They can't actually prove, and either can religion. It just gets you to the door. Once you walk through the door, you'll know. Because you'll no longer have faith in something. You'll no longer know something. You will be that one thing. Being it and knowing it is two worlds apart. Being it and having faith in it is two worlds apart. But it does start. The first step starts as kind of faith. Like you're just like, I just got this feeling. You know what? And I'm just going to follow it. And then you realize, that was an emotional charge. An emotional reaction. An emotional reaction is from your perception to what is, or a reaction. So a reaction to the perception of what is, or a reaction to the thinking you're doing. That's an emotional charge. That's not intuitive. It's not creative. It's not infinite. It's come from your finite.
It's reacting from either fear or something else.
It's bouncing. It's a bouncing of finite. It's the bouncing in duality, and that's fine. But you need to follow that to realize, that's that. You need to follow that with awareness. If you follow that with judgment and go, I'm judging myself for doing that, okay, then you just reinforced it. You didn't get the awareness. In other words, you didn't get the wisdom. So it's about continuing to move forward. You know, you asked the question before, Kate, right, about, Jane, okay, about agenda. She said, well, how do I not follow my agenda? I said, follow it. You know, it's not about not following it. You can't, the moment you try to not follow agenda or get rid of the agenda, you reinforce the agenda as real. You give power to it. You give it existence to it. And you know what they say, whatever you resist, you'll continue to persist. So it's about noticing the agenda. Okay? Notice the agenda. And in the moment where you're noticing or have awareness, in that moment, that's neutrality. You have free will. You can choose if you want to follow the agenda. You can make a choice. But making a choice that's from a reaction, in other words, making a choice that's driven by a positive or negative charge, that's it. Making a choice out of judgment. How you feeling, Michael? You all right? Are you sure?
My body's sore.
Yeah. Does that make sense? So It's like, well, I followed the agenda. Look at that. That's awesome. And just notice the different experiences.
It wasn't until I followed the agenda that I realised that it was an agenda.
Yeah.
And then, so now I can see it before it happens.
Yeah.
That doesn't always mean I don't get tempted to follow it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot more clear now. Whereas before it was like in the dark. I'll just follow it for time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I know we're all here to try to bring this into tangibility, and you will by bringing it into form. But you can never hold on and own that tangibility. You can never own. The moment you try to own something, even the truth, the moment you try to own it, and owning it means understand it, you're gone. It's just a spiral dive down. I don't need to understand it. I just know. It's just familiar, because I've used it over and over again, and the familiarity becomes greater and stronger and stronger. So does the voice still kick in? Yeah, but the power is so small, and this is just more familiar now. The heart, it's a pretty simple choice. All right. How are you guys feeling? You cold? All right, let's doing it. Yeah. Do they have a medium temperature? We had the same problem in we had the OMG in Rushcutters Bay, and it was really cold, just like this. And then we decided that let's just be really present and stay in the cold. So everyone had to be really present to not be affected. So it was one of the exercises we did. But there's not as many charges here today as last on Friday's OMG. So
It's the weekend between. WTF between.
all right. Okay. So again, I want you to notice what happened in that moment. Just go over it again in your mind, and just so you can see the pattern. And then notice that when you go into your life, notice when you go into the story, and every time you want to make a choice, where do you go? Where would you love to go? Remember, the part of you that's infinite is a part of you where the choice is already made. That's why the moment I spoke about the intensive, you already knew. You were just waiting for the head to catch up with the heart. That's why you say things like, yeah, I want to do it, I just need more information. Right? You're just waiting for the information to come here to align itself. Right? But when you're using infinity, you don't need this to match it. This overrules it. Because this will not always match this. You know that, right? And if it does match this, you've just limited the infinity anyway. Because you're no longer following your intuition or infinite, you're following this. You found a logical reason of why you should do it. All right. So I want to pose one more question, and then we'll see where this takes us. What else do you think will stop you from manifesting? What's going to stop you from walking out there and manifesting?
Doubt.
Okay, so doubt, which comes from the ego. Other people's stories. Okay. Which has only got to do with you. and that only affects you when you're not in the present moment. Other people's stories will affect you when you're not here. Someone can only affect you when you're not here. The moment you're not in this moment, other people can influence you. And they can only influence the charges that you already have. You see? Like you're experiencing someone coming up, influencing you about a charge that you already have around feeling important. It's one of your agendas, right? So they can influence you because you're holding that charge. If feeling important is no longer so important, that can't be influenced. Can you see? Just remember, or I want to remind you that everything that happens in your story, or anything, any discomfort or charges that you feel, has nothing to do with the story. All right? You already had those charges. You already felt that way. You already were holding on to those judgments. The story is just like moved through to ignite it. It has nothing to do with the story. If you didn't have those charges, when the story moved through, it wouldn't ignite anything. You just feel completely neutral. And when I say the story moved through, I mean like you moving through the story. What do they do next door, Mel? Karate?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's exhausting.
I thought they only do that in the evenings. What's that? Oh, is it? So, Michael, what did you get from that?
So I go to my head.
Hey?
I go to my head too much.
You go in your head.
Put limitations on things. And I'll go through the same thing over and over. So
Yeah. So the feeling's there, right? He felt it, the feeling's there, so the feeling rose, went to his head, and then the head said that's not possible, and it pushed it back down. Or the feeling rose, and the head said yes, but the next thought, just be aware of the next thought as you let the feeling out. So as you begin to let the feeling out, just watch the next thought, because the very next thought follows the feeling out. Like I gave you the example before, that if you think this is going to be difficult, then you will create it to be difficult. The best thing to do, or the craziest thing to do, is not to think about it at all. It's purely make the decision on a feeling. Purely make a decision on a feeling. So who's ever done that, where you just felt something and you purely made a decision on the feeling, you didn't even think about it? Okay, can you tell me about some of your experiences?
I can tell you about mine. A good one that stands out, and I've started to see these recently. I didn't see them at the time.
Yeah.
I manifested work
Yeah.
with Big Three. I hadn't thought about it prior to that.
Yeah.
When I was asked on the spot, am I joining or not, I sat with it. I had fear come up and I went no. I sat with it and the answer came out clearly yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole process with the retreat, when I heard about it, I knew straight away that I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And I could have sat with the story that I had to support why I couldn't do it, but for whatever reason I didn't, and I did do the retreat.
Okay.
Same with OMG. Made a decision, I left the retreat, I felt to do OMG.
Yeah.
I went to the story for a little while, but for once I didn't buy into it.
Okay.
I saw the story there,
Yeah.
and I made the biggest decision of my life to register for OMG with all the fear that I had on the day I did it,
Yeah.
and the risk of not asking my husband if I could spend the money, because I had a reference point, I will be honest. And again, I still did it, even though that was probably to date the hardest decision to do what felt right.
Okay.
So I find that when I don't think about it, the retreat,
Yeah.
or when I do think about it but don't buy into it, it works out.
Yeah. If you want to experience because that feeling that's rising, it's an effortless feeling,
Yeah, it just
right?
came.
And yeah, and it just comes, and so does the manifestation. if you don't think about it. Now, at the first, when you're starting to practice this, as you're deciding to follow the feeling, you're having thoughts after you've decided. You know? When someone makes a wholehearted decision, there's no thoughts afterwards. They're the crazy ones. You know, they just make a decision, that's it. Okay? And they just know it's done. And then their experience of it coming into form is effortless. Do you understand? When I say effortless, within themselves, there's a stillness. There's not, oh shit, where's my, it doesn't matter if the money comes or money doesn't come, or the circumstances are this way or the circumstances are that way, all right? The circumstances are negative, the circumstances are positive. It doesn't, inside there's a calmness. Yeah. Can you see what I'm saying? It's just still, but the person who's thought afterwards, there's a bit of, and how much you've thought, and if all you've done is thinking, then the manifestation is not coming to place anyway. Okay? All you're experiencing is the need of it. And even if you manifested it, then you just experience the need of it. Okay, great. Good example. Anyone else?
I've just noticed that there's been times when I've had that intuition, I've made a decision, I'm going to follow it,
Yeah.
and I've created a story afterwards about the decision that I made.
Yeah.
So it felt right in the moment. But then when I look back on it, I never actually truly manifested what my intention, I didn't manifest from that decision. I kind of realised that I turned that into a story. I made it part of my story.
Okay, can I give you, perfect. I want to point out exactly what happened here. Was everyone listening? Who wasn't listening? Okay. Do you want to say it again? Because Mark wasn't listening.
So when I look back, there's been times when I've had that gut intuition, I've made a snap decision, and then I followed that path. For example, 4 years ago I lost my business, or it ended up about 100 grand in debt, and then I made a decision that my intuition would tell me to follow a certain path, to go and study, go and do NLP coaching, which has led me to this journey. At the time, there was a lot going on in my head. There's no way on paper I should be not going and getting a job, but I made the decision on following my intuition. But now, looking back after that, I didn't manifest anything out of that decision because I actually turned that into I made a story out of that decision, as you can probably just tell by the way I said it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wouldn't be using that as a story.
So what's happened here? This is an example of what I've shared before. I'm trying to give you all the different scenarios of manifestation. So the feeling was there, right? And he's followed the feeling, but then he started to manifest some story.
To logically say this is why I should be doing it.
Yeah.
Spot on. Pound it. Spot on. I'm glad you guys are getting it. Because the feeling was there, he brought the feeling up, but he needed to find the logical reason. Isn't that his pattern? Isn't that what he did before? Before I wanted to show you all your pattern. He says, yeah, I'm going to do it, but I need more information. And I was like, no, you don't. Because there's that part of you doesn't need more information. He already knows. And I said, go to the part of you that's already made the decision. You don't need more information. He went to that part and went, yes, yes. Right? The part of him that needs more information, this is his pattern, is the part of him that needs a logical reason of why he should do it. So in that experience there, he had the feeling, he decided to follow the feeling only because he also found a logical reason of why he should follow the feeling. So the manifestation began, but it then diverted to the logic. That's why I said, if you find a logical reason of why you should follow the feeling, you think, yes, I found a logical reason. But you're no longer following the feeling. You're following the feeling out, but then once it's out, you're following the logic, which is the agenda, which is, I would really love to do this. This could make me really good money, or maybe I'll become famous from this. Or,
There's
oh my
also
God.
a significance thing there as well.
Okay, yeah.
I remember using that story in my story,
Yeah.
and it being a massive thing of significance. That people would look at me and go, oh, wow, that's amazing you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the significance thing is the recognition agenda, right?
The penny just dropped with me. I did the same, but not find a reason,
Yeah.
find a security. So, I spend the money, well, I lost that money over there, so I can lose the money over here if I lose it. Like, it's bottom
Yeah.
line, I can deal with the worst that could happen, as
Yeah.
opposed to a justification for the reason that I think I'm following that feeling.
Yeah. So
I
you
haven't really done it.
so you've made these backup things, and
Yeah, if the worst could happen, we've got that.
yeah, that's a plan.
Yeah,
That's a plan. A plan doesn't have to be a business plan.
yeah.
That's a plan. A plan is also when you go, I love for this to do. You follow the feeling, and you don't know how it's going to happen, right? But then you go, well, it could happen this way, or the money could show up, or maybe, and you start to find scenarios, which is again logical reasons of why or how this could happen. That's a plan. It's not. You don't have to necessarily sit there and make a plan. You know, whenever I talk about plan, everyone automatically thinks about business plan. No, you're making plans in your life, in your mind all the time, and it's consuming space. And it's getting in the way of your manifestation. Do you understand? Okay, awesome. Good realizations.
So then what?
Hey?
So then what? Is it
So if you want to go all the way, you just don't think. After you follow the feeling, you know, Gazlow style, the crazy one, right? You there's a feeling, you just do it. There's no thinking that comes after it. I mean, the thinking that comes after it is the limiting. It's the ego questioning. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it takes practice to just. And when I say it takes practice, you got to get to a point where the feeling becomes so familiar, and you just know it, and you just go, yeah, this is what I love.
it's sort of when the thoughts come in, just they go straight out?
Well, the thoughts don't come in once when you make a wholehearted decision, the thoughts don't come in. If you make a half-hearted, well, there's space for half heart, half head. So there's space there for the head. So then the thoughts are there. And that's when you got to go, no, I'm going to just do this. And then once the thoughts come in, then that's when you're going, oh, is this right or is this wrong? You know, is this going to be a better decision or worse decision? So that's why when I say, well, if you're in that mind, forget about it. You're now in your head. Forget about it. Let it go and let the decision come to you again. Once you're thinking, should I do this, should I not, you're in your head. So whatever decision you come up with is a positively or negatively charged decision. It's not a free will decision. It's a decision based on your past experiences, based on your pattern. But if you're making decisions purely in the moment, for the moment, you're making infinite decisions.
So in essence, it's being in the present again.
What's that?
Being in the present.
Yeah.
And not in the thought. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, anyone else got a story? Yep.
I have a question.
Question, okay.
So in terms of, okay, we're not planning and things like that, you make a wholehearted decision that you want to do something, or this feeling comes to you, you decide, yes, I'm going to do that. The plan then comes through you as opposed to the one that you're creating. Can you differentiate that?
Yes, the plan unfolds through you, okay?
So it's just effortless in terms of...
Well, I'll give you an example of my direct experience. My business, okay? I continuously feel and check in with the decision that's been made, if you like. And how do I do that? By giving space to it, like we spoke about. I mean, just, you know, how OMG is going. OMG turns into OMG Intensive. How the retreat is now Gaz and I, and how OMG Online, and putting the programs, I mean, putting all my programs online for free. Like, that was like, the feeling said to do it. And sometimes you almost, like, you know the feeling's there. That feeling has been there all the time to be able to just get this information out, right? And sometimes you need somebody in the story to just come and kick the feeling up or reignite it. And that happened because my mum said to me, why don't you just get this online? You know, you're traveling around every weekend. What about all these countries there's war and stuff, and they can't get this stuff? Get this stuff to the people. And the moment she said that, I mean, I felt that the whole time, right? But I've always held it back because I was thinking if I just put it online, people won't value it, you know? So, and when she said that, that was like, boom, I felt the boom. And right there I decided, and I rang Patrick. Patrick, we're putting all the programs for free. Forget about the dollar, forget about this marketing deal. Just let it go. I mean, you don't put this program online for free. I mean, can you imagine what can happen? I mean, in the story, people will just rip your information and just go and sell it themselves. Great, you know? But there's a lot of things that can happen in the story. So anyway, so then I felt to do that. The logic obviously kicks in. I don't know why I'm doing that, okay? But that's the plan unfolding. The next step comes, and I just. But the thing.
It's letting go of how you think it should look and just going with it.
It's and letting go of where it's going. You see, when I went online, the point was I started to go blind. I don't know where this is going now, because I can. As I'm doing this business, as I'm sharing this information, as I'm going around America, I can kind of sense where it's going. You can kind of like predict where it's going. You know, you have a sense of where it's going. But the moment I went online and it reshaped the whole OMG, OMG is going to be rechanged, the retreat's going to rechange. Like this is just, and it's just following the feeling, right? Now it feels like I'm blind. That's what it feels like. But anyway, to answer your question, that's the plan, but the plan is unfolding through me in the moment. But as I as I allow that plan to unfold through me by deciding to follow the decision that's already made, and I just do it, but I have no logical, I don't know where it's going, right? As the dust settles, I start to see the path again, and I go, look what's happening. Oh shit, OMG is going online. Yeah, I never knew that. We were just putting all this online, okay? There was no income from it. There was no nothing. And then, people are registering to watch online. Wow, there's a database building there. See, I didn't know that. Can you see? You think to yourself, oh, you would. You're a businessman. I didn't. I just didn't. I was blind. I was just like, let's just get this information. Oh, shit, there's a database building. Like, all these people are sharing. It's becoming viral. People were just sharing all around the world, watching these programs online. Then there was like, OMG is going online. No, then OMG changed. I was doing this infinite group. It came to me to do the infinite group. So I start putting this infinite group together. The infinite content is the stuff that I'm sharing with you guys. Then OMG people start going, I want more of that infinite stuff. I don't want the story. I want this. And then I was like, well, rather than create an infinite group, I'll make the infinite group OMG. So I bought the infinite group here, which satisfied a lot of people, right? But then there's a few people who are like, but I want the story still. I want to, I need the hands-on practical. Then OMG Intensive got created. But I'm not creating any of this. Can you see? I'm watching the story, and at the same time, it's just getting fulfilled by itself. So when the plan unfolds in the moment, you don't know at the beginning, or you don't know sometimes where it's going. But it is unfolding, and it's unfolding through you based on what feels true, based on the feeling that feels familiar. So you're just following the feeling, and you just know it's going. For me, it just continues to expand. There's been times. I mean, the guys who work with me, some of the mentors who have been with me for a long time know. There's been times where suddenly it comes to me to change the financial arrangement for the mentors, right? And it benefits them way more, like it benefits them, not me, financially. And they're like, okay, because that's what came to me. I mean, you probably just experienced that last week, where you had some kind of financial thing that happened for you, because it just came to me, do this for Mel. So I rang and did this thing, which I don't need to discuss. And she's, wow. Can you see what I'm saying? But then if I was to question that, I'll go, well, that doesn't make sense, because I will be now out of pocket. But you follow the feeling anyway, because the money, okay, the expenses for this company don't get paid by the money it makes. I know in the story it does, right? But I've decided, for example, I decide to follow a feeling, go to America, right? That creates huge amount of expenses suddenly, more expenses, especially at the beginning when you're actually not making any money in America. But it has nothing to do with, well, hang on, can my company afford that? How much more do we need to sell? Nothing. I go, then the story molds around my decision. See, I don't make my decision molded around the story. That's what happens when you got your power in the story. Every decision you're making, you're molding it around the story.
And if you don't manifest, if you don't manifest what you need to,
yeah,
then the does that mean you're still giving power to the story? So if you went to America and it didn't work out,
So if I went to, so this is what you got to understand. Sometimes what seems like it's not working out is actually working out. Because the more clearer I get, the more I realize why I'm going to America. Okay? As I'm practicing this, I'm getting more and more clearer. So when I make a choice, I already know why, right? But at the beginning, you don't know why. And you think to yourself, it's because I'm going to start Be Free People. But and run events. I'm just giving you an example. This is like, but then really, I go there because I thought I'm going for Be Free People. So I go there for that, right? But then I realized, I'm writing a movie and I met this person. I'm getting into the movie industry. I'm just using an example. That's not what's happening. But can you see? But as you get more and more pure, more and more still, more and more clear, more and more the one, you know, A, you know the decision that's made all the time. And B, there is a part of you that knows why you went there. Okay? But at the beginning, I don't know where I'm going there.
to the point now where you just have absolute faith in following.
I'm in the point right now where I still, when I make choices, don't know why I'm making the choices. I'm not that clear.
Yeah. So when I look back on the decision I made 4 years ago,
Yeah.
now it all makes perfect sense because it led me to where I am now.
Yeah.
But back then,
Yeah.
I made the decision, I was questioning it.
Yeah.
So now I'm at a point where I'm more in flow because I'm much more, I just have more faith in, I don't question it.
That's right. And that decision led you to this point. And that decision took you to different experiences so you can experience it to get to this point. It's like the decision I needed to make when I was like 20, 22, 21 or something. I was on this path of truth the whole time, but I told my mum, I need to go and become successful. I have no money. She's like, well, being successful is not going to make you happy. And I was like, yes, it is. You know, so I went, and she's like, well, go. So I had to go and do that, and she would support me in doing that. 7 years later, I came back around and go, okay, what do you know? Because I experienced failure. I was on the verge of bankruptcy at the age of 22, 2 businesses that went bust. And then I went and experienced success, what classified as success. And then I was like, shit, it's exactly the same thing, except different. Before I was afraid because I didn't have any. Now I'm afraid of losing it all. You know, still afraid. So then I went back to my mom and go, okay, what do you know? So, but I needed to experience that. I needed to have that wisdom. I can't just have the knowledge of that. My mum could give me the knowledge, but she knows if I say no, I need to do that, she'll go, okay, go and do that. So that's why I say in the WTF program, you can't make a mistake. You can't make it. If that's a choice you made, at some point you may think it's a wrong decision, but you needed to make that decision to come back around. So I just keep doing circles and coming back around. But now my circles are a lot smaller. So my mistake, you know, what's perceived to be a mistake, they're a lot smaller. Oh, we just did. Oh, look! I always say, I laugh a lot with Patrick. Oh, look at that, Patrick! We just did a circle. He's like, oh, another circle. But the circles are smaller and smaller and smaller. So I know I'm getting clearer and clearer and clearer. So yeah, just like you guys, I will filter the things, but I just do it less. But definitely the feeling is familiar. I mean, I am very familiar with the feeling. That I have no doubt. But where I have doubt sometimes is why am I doing this? I know in the story why I'm doing this, because people will transform their lives or da-da-da, but I don't know where it's, I don't know where the whole plan. I know the plan here. But the funny thing is that's all I need to know. I'm very fulfilled in just knowing what the next step is.
That's something that I would needing to get used to, because I'm used to a why.
Yeah.
And so I have no idea what's in my future, but getting used to the idea of, well, just let that happen. Because I'm a white person, I'll go, but why did that happen? And then justify that, and then justify the next issue, and then, to then change that.
Yeah. When I used to ask a lot of those questions, why, my mum used to say, why? Because the sky is high. You know, just some things you don't need to know yet. You know, why was I born as a female? You know, what was it? I don't know. Yeah, that's what you chose. I know that's a bad example, but it's just like asking a question like that. Well, you know, why did it become cloudy today? Did I manifest it to become cloudy today? I mean, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's just.
Or is that my agenda? Or is this?
Yeah.
Is this? And what you're saying is, just do it and watch
Yeah,
and be aware.
absolutely. You know, that I got to a point where at the beginning I was like, is that an agenda? Is that this? And I just that, and all I can tell you is I just got to a point and I went, I'm just gonna fucking, I don't even know how I decided that. I'm just doing it. I remember actually, now that I say to you, I remember there was a point where, I won't go into the story, it's not relevant, but there was a point I got to where, you know, I was like, oh, should I sell the quest for truth? Should I put it for free? And is that an agenda? I'm trying to make, you know, I was just trying to, you know, and then one day I just got to a point because there was a conversation I had with someone, it was my mum actually, and something that happened in the storyline, and I remember, fuck it, you know, I don't care if it's an agenda. I'm just going, and I stopped thinking about it. I just stopped thinking about it. And then if it was an agenda, I did a circle. And I was like, oh, cool. That was cool. And I was like, but I would notice that when I came back around, I was like, oh, I'm back around. Oh, but I noticed I went around this big circle. Oh, cool. And then if I did another agenda, I'd notice the circle. But the circles, like I said, keep getting smaller and smaller. I just stopped thinking about it. I stopped even thinking, is this an agenda? Is this not an agenda? I was like, fuck. I just started doing it. The funny thing is, as I stopped thinking about it, I stopped creating the agendas. Yeah, there was still a few more in there. It's like when I talk about in the WTF eating. You know, when I stopped dieting and I started to lose weight by myself, was at the beginning I just started to eat whatever I wanted to do. And I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done. Is this going to make me fat? This magazine said this is bad, or this doctor said this is good. I should eat this. This is bad for you, and this is good for my blood type. And then I just went, fuck it, and I just started eating whatever I wanted to, and I stopped thinking about it. Okay, and then the noise in my head started to quieten because I stopped questioning everything, and then I felt what to eat, and then I started feeling to walk, and then I started to feel to run, and then I started to train and do CrossFit kind of training, and then I started soft sand, I started Pilates, and it just kept leading me to different things. Can you see what I'm saying? Because I just went, fuck it. But when I said fuck it, did I put on weight? Yeah, at the beginning I did. All right, but then the noise, once the dust settled, I could start to see the path again. So it's kind of like that. And so the same thing, I just got to a point where I just went, well, it could be an agenda, it could, you know, I'm just going to do this. I feel to do it, I'm going to do it. If I feel to do it, and I even remember, like my mum used to go, there was times, my mum doesn't get involved much, right? She does not get involved. With Gaz, all the time. Involved all the time. It's like she's a complete different person. And Gaz used to go, you treated him like a golden child and you keep picking him. But it was different, right? She's working with her ego. And I remember with me once, my mum got involved. And she says, Amir, you're with this girl. It's just agenda driven. She's not the girl for you. And I was just like, oh, mum, you're just being a mum and you're just getting involved in my relationship. She's like, all right, well, go, you know. And she was really didn't want me to go with this girl that I was with once. And I remember, I was like, well, if it is agenda driven, I'm fucking going to do it anyway. Yeah, was my mum right? Yes, 100%. But I needed to do it. So I went and did it. Did I do it full circle? It took me a whole year? Yes. But I got the wisdom. Could my mum save me a year? Yes, but I wasn't meant to save that 1 year. Can you see? So that's the attitude I started to get. You know, even if my mum would even advise me on something, I would always take my own thing. I would go, well, what is it? What do I feel? And I just stopped thinking about things. And if she said this is an agenda, well, then it may be. Because this is perfect for you, Kate, you know. Maybe it is agenda, maybe it's not. But if you could just stop looking for, if you look for the agendas, you're always going to find an agenda, you know. It's like when you look for a problem, you're always going to find a problem. On this path, it's not like your problems go away, it's just they become irrelevant. When you're coming from infinity, they're no longer problems. They were problems once, but they just become irrelevant. They're no longer problems. But they're still there. That's why I say you get to the point where you find your center. In the WTF, I talk about finding your center. But the world's still going up and down around you, but you're not. And anyone who's not in their center, which is neutral, which is presence, they're going up and down. The world is still, you're living in duality. It's still going to go up and down. There's still going to be love. There's going to be war. There's going to be peace. But you're in peace. You're in serenity. You're not going up and down. Yeah. So the less up and downs become less. Yeah. All right. It's been an interesting conversation so far. When we get back from lunch, I'm going to continue talking about. I'm going to try to describe the feeling of what it feels like when you're manifesting. And manifesting, all it is moving energy. It's and you move energy with your awareness. Just like when we did the meditation, you brought your awareness and you brought the energy here. What the true word is, you became aware of the energy that's here, because the energy is always here. But normally when you do meditation, you come back into your body, like you all probably are right now, and you're back in the finite.